Hello and welcome to Marriott MBA Today. I'm your host, Trevor McDougall, and I'm joined today by Dave Toronto. Thanks for joining us, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
Dave is a second-year MBA student who spent this summer interning at ExxonMobil. So to start off, Dave, could you tell us a little bit about how you got your internship at ExxonMobil?
Yeah, so the short answer is ExxonMobil came to campus and they recruited me there. But it's certainly a longer process than that. Probably my recruiting process with Exxon started as soon as I got to school. I found out who were the interns that went there, and I talked to McKay Hansen, who was the previous intern there, and I received some names from him, and I started to network and find out who the recruiters were, and I talked with them and started to build a rapport so that when it came time for interviews that they would know who I was, they would get a good sense of my personality and what I was passionate about. And then it allowed the interview to be more like a formality, where in terms of just making sure that I, was not some kind of weirdo. So.
All right. So you're studying in the finance program. Mm-hmm. What sort of internship did you have? What group were you in, and what were some projects that you had?
Yeah, so it's a funny story. When I was at ExxonMobil Chemical, I did zero finance, and I was in their global marketing organization, but I did zero marketing also. It's a very funny name. I've asked the question why they call it the global marketing organization. They don't really have a great answer. But basically this group within ExxonMobil Chemical is they are an internal consulting group where they basically take on projects and sort of incubate them and then push them out to the business units, across the globe.
Okay. And what were some particular projects that you had while you were there?
Yeah, so within the global marketing organization, there's a smaller subset that's related to product quality. Okay. And so that was the group that I was in. And so I actually had 4 projects that I worked on, but the main project that I worked on was a training package that would be used to train new leaders within Exxon on their role in product quality. So Exxon is a very process-driven organization, and so there's a process that needs to be followed to make sure that the product quality incidents are resolved quickly. And so my training, would instruct new leaders on how to follow that process and how they can be most effective in their new role.
Okay. So what were some of the courses from the first year that helped you most during your internship?
Right. So I would love to say that it was like finance or operations or marketing or something like that. But honestly, the classes that were most helpful in my internship were the ones that taught the softer skills. Okay. So that was more like leadership and human resources, because as part of my project, I had to interview a lot of people. I ended up having 80 or 90 interviews with people all throughout the company. And so I had to know how to interact with people effectively and motivate them and persuade them to help me and kind of be on my side. And so really, those classes were helpful, but I would say just the interaction and learning how to network, was very effective in my role, because that's what I did in my internship. That I basically networked my entire internship and relied on the resources of others to help me accomplish my goal.
So would you say like the team structure of the first year really benefited you with you're working with different people and you're also reaching out to others?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I would say the team structure certainly helped. Working in a section helped. Mm-hmm. And then even just learning the process of finding a job really helped, because that's where you learn the skills of how to network effectively and how to create relationships such that it's a two-way street where, they're giving you something, but you're also giving them something as well. Yeah. And so that's a very important skill that you need to have, whether not just in looking for a job, but to navigate through a company.
Okay. What was the biggest highlight from the summer?
There were lots of highlights.
Okay.
Exxon takes really good care of their employees, especially their interns. I kind of see it as, CEO, interns, and then everybody else. They really treated me well. They took us on a lot of field trips to see different places. One in particular was really cool. They took the MBA interns along with all the undergrad interns on a tour of an offshore drilling rig. And so for me as an engineer, that was pretty cool to be able to see kind of how that worked. And we got a tour. We also went golfing to a driving range that had these big nets that you could hit balls into, and you'd score points and stuff. And,
okay.
It was awesome, I would say. And just meeting the new people was really a great experience.
All right. So one final question for you. Any advice for students who are interested in going and working or interning with Exxon?
Yeah. I think with Exxon in particular, they are a very long-term focused business. And so as such, they want their employees to stay long-term. And so they want to know that you are passionate about not only the oil and gas industry, but about Exxon itself.
Okay.
And so in that interview, you want to be, you want to show that you have that passion for Exxon and for the oil and gas industry, and that you're willing to stay there for the long haul. And to be honest, that's not a bad gig, because you'll be just fine if you do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Dave, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Marriott MBA Today.